Hey there, I'm so excited you decided to grab the workbook and the video guide. Now remember, you can either print the workbook, looks like this, to go through it. There's something about putting pen to paper, or you can simply download it to your desktop and type away when the time is right. I will let you know when I get those workbooks ready. The video guide I've prepared for you will give you a brief introduction into what is self-integrity. I will also use the video to show you how to use the quad system to get what you really want, to get you to show up, commit, and take an action, create an action plan to get what you want. In addition, I will walk you through 3 simple exercises that you can begin implementing right away to strengthen your self-integrity. You don't have to do all 3, just listen to all 3, we'll walk it through, and then pick the one that resonates with you the most. This workbook is a tool that you can use over and over again. But enough about that. Let's get started. Welcome to the video training on how best to use your workbook. I want to give you some tools and techniques on how to strengthen your integrity. Integrity creates the harmony and balance in a relationship, plus lays a foundation of trust, loyalty, and respect, not only with others, but also with yourself. This is me, the professional, the CEO running multiple businesses while also taking care of the loves in my life. I am constantly working to keep balance in my life, and that means that I simply don't have time to waste on things that don't work. I spent over 20 years in the Bay Area's corporate world as an executive in the areas of accounting, finance, and operations. Then about 8 years ago, I left the corporate world and started a successful CFO consulting practice serving clients across San Francisco and the Silicon Valley. In late 2015, I decided to expand my practice and venture into the online world to include business coaching, helping full-time entrepreneurs to catapult their online presence and grow their business beyond their local region. So as you can see, as an active entrepreneur running and managing 2 businesses, plus striving to have a peaceful and personal life, I need to be smart about how I spend my time and who I spend my time with. After working with hundreds of clients, often the problem isn't their level of commitment, but rather their own self getting in their own way. Negative thoughts, listening to the inner critic, or an imbalance between what they want and the actions they're taking, or in most cases not taking, to get what they want. As I work with my clients to start unpacking the issues, identifying where they're stuck, why they haven't been able to get the results they want, most often it's because their actions are not aligning with who they need to be to achieve the goals and commitments that they want. You know how some people feel they're working so hard, doing all the things, but still not making progress? They're not getting what they want. They're frustrated with how slow things seem to be going for them. Well, I help them to identify why they feel that way, why they're stuck or not as successful as they'd like to be, and then design a strategy to follow in order to start making the changes needed to show up and get what they want and desire. That's what I've been focusing on for the past few years, helping people scale their businesses and achieve their goals by working with them to strengthen their intentions and their character. So their goal, promise, or commitment aligns with the strategic plan of action to get them the results they want. Through my own experience, I have learned a lot and have helped many people show up as an even better version of themselves to achieve their goals. During our time together, I will help you start to change. I'll show you how you're keeping yourself stuck or keeping yourself from getting what you want and what it's actually costing you. If you want a happier life, more money, a better job, a more successful business, stronger relationships, then I'll teach you a few things you can start doing right away to get you what you want. And the best part, these are exercises you can use over and over again to work on getting you to show up as the best version of yourself. Now look, it's not easy. It takes work. It requires you to get vulnerable, to be brutally honest with yourself, and to let go of the past and then get to work. But the results are so worth it. Much of our time together will be spent focusing on how our self-integrity shows up. I'll guide you through 3 exercises to strengthen your self-integrity and have it show up in your daily life. This self-awareness alone will change your life. During my time in corporate and in my own business, I see how self-integrity plays a direct role in the success of the person, both personally and professionally. Many of you are already in leadership positions. Others are on their way to a leadership position. Integrity is important in leadership, period. It's a constant and consistent state of mind, and it's not situational. If you compromise your integrity in small situations with little consequence, then it becomes very easy to compromise on the bigger situations with larger and more significant consequences. This includes hiding things about yourself and keeping secrets about yourself so that the character or aspect of you that other people see is not even the real you. I know firsthand that leaders with integrity always err on the side of fairness, especially when other people are unfair. Again, this applies both personally and professionally because I know that many of you are leaders in your family. I love this quote. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Your actions speak volumes about who you are, about your character, about the self-respect you have for the commitments you make. And sure, no one has to know what promises you've made to yourself, especially if you don't share them with anyone. But you'll know. You'll know each time you cancel, reschedule, waffle on a commitment or promise you've made to yourself. And this will impact your character. It impacts your integrity and how you show up in your business and, of course, in your life. Simply put, self-integrity are the promises and commitments we make to ourselves and the act of keeping those promises. It's the way we show up for ourselves and to be really honest about it. It's deciding what you want, making a commitment, and holding yourself accountable to doing what you tell yourself that you are going to do, keeping your promise to yourself. So often, we are the first to compromise our own self-integrity when we quickly change our plans to accommodate someone else, especially if the person making the request is someone who has influence on you. I believe very strongly in being in integrity both to others as well as to ourselves. My commitment to myself is to constantly be the person I need to be to run and grow a successful business while maintaining a happy and peaceful home life. Simple, right? If only it were that simple. With practice, I've learned that if I make a promise to me, then to stay in alignment with who I need to be and how I need to show up, I need to hold myself accountable. I've learned that the promises and commitments I make to myself are just as, if not more important than the promises and commitments I make to others. There are three main pillars to balance our self-integrity. Make a promise or a commitment to yourself of something you want or desire. Identify who do you need to be to make progress towards that commitment. And third, take action, even if it's imperfect action. What do you need to do to honor your commitment? When you make a commitment, set a goal or make a promise, and you decide who you need to be to honor that commitment, keep that promise or achieve that goal, it feels great. You make progress. You feel accomplished. You start to see results because you've been taking the action steps to be the person you need to be, and you feel confident, happy, and continue to show up this way. This is what being in alignment feels like. Of course, when you're out of alignment, it feels the opposite, and your body tells you. You feel frustrated, upset, defeated, let down. This is where we need to be really honest with ourselves and look at our actions. Are we doing the things we said we were going to do to honor our commitment, keep our promise, achieve our goal? It's pretty daunting when you realize that the person responsible for you being stuck or not experiencing as much success as you want is yourself. So tell me, are you experiencing any sort of misalignment now? Let's do something about it right now. I'm going to show you a few ways you can work on the different aspects of your life, and you can use these exercises whenever you want to come up with a plan of action to implement right away. I'd like to introduce you to what I call the quad system, also known as the Keep Your Promises formula. This system is designed to be used when working on any area of your life you'd like to focus on. It can be big or small, personal or business, friend or family, or the best one, yourself. The quad system has several sections to help guide you through the exercise of creating your plan of action to get you what you want. I don't know about you, but I learn better with examples. So let's go through one right now. Grab your workbook and turn to page 3. This example is from an actual client of mine who used the system for her business, had such great results, she asked for my help with a personal goal. There is something about putting pen to paper and writing it, having your own words in your handwriting, staring back at you. But if you feel better and more comfortable with typing away, hey, whatever's going to get you to actually get the work done and work the system. We start with stating what we want. In this example, when I asked her what you want, she said, I want to lose weight. At the very top, you see that? What do you want? Okay, let's be more intentional and specific. In the commitment box, I'd have you give some more details. She said, okay, I want to lose 30 pounds in the next 4 months. Okay, now we are getting somewhere. We have a goal and a deadline. I've highlighted that for you over here. Then I asked her, why? Why do you want to lose weight? To which she initially answered, oh, I want to be healthy. Then after she wrote this down, I asked her, now tell me the real why. She said, my sister's getting married and I want to look good in my dress. Then I asked, anything else? And again, this is great. Her why needs to be strong and motivating enough for those times when she hits the bumps in the road that will that'll set her back or keep her stuck. So in this particular case, she said, I want to lose weight before my sister's wedding. And the commitment and promise, the more details, the better. She says, I want to lose 30 pounds in 4 months. And later she said, I want to purchase a smaller size dress. Next, I asked, who do you need to be in order to keep this commitment to yourself? What characteristics and behaviors does this person who wants to lose 30 pounds in 4 months have? So this is where we start to fill in the B box. Who do you need to be to get what you want? What are those behaviors? Does this person need to be someone who exercises 3 to 4 times a week, who drinks 8 to 10 glasses of water a day, watches her portions at every meal, eats healthier, tracks their food, cuts back on going out, cuts out alcohol, not afraid of the scale, willing to put in the work? And so, okay, now that we've established who we need to be in order to make progress on our promise or commitment or goal, we move on to what do you need to do in order to achieve your promise, commitment, or goal? That's where we move on to this box, the lower left-hand side, the do. What do you need to do to be the person to get what you want? Okay, this is where you get to examine how you show up. Are you keeping your word, your promise? You share your commitment with others. Totally optional, but a great way to keep yourself accountable. You join a gym, hire a trainer. You're working out 3 to 4 times a week for about 45 minutes, if not more. You're drinking the 8 glasses of water or more. You're planning your meals ahead. You're eating healthy. You're cooking at home, and you're not going out at all while kicking up this new routine. This was the beginning of her plan of action. In her own handwriting, she had come up with what she wanted, why she wanted it, who she needed to be, behave, and how she needed to behave, and what she needed to do to make this happen. The item to keep herself accountable was also to keep the sheet handy to refer to it daily, however often she needed to refer to it in order to keep herself on track. As she starts to work the system, she needs to check in and ask herself, how am I showing up? Am I in alignment or not? The version of her that was in alignment with her commitment, with who she wanted to be and how she was showing up to keep her promise she made to herself, was doing the things. Joined a gym. She started to make better food choices, tracking her food, getting on the scale. She was feeling and showing up empowered, confident, excited, and using the momentum to keep going. She told her friends and also asked for their support to keep her honest. But she also realized she hadn't been doing all the things and could do better. Otherwise, she'd fall out of alignment and not achieve her goal. That's what the adjust box is for. As she reviewed the action steps in the do box, right here on the left-hand side, she realized she needed to make some adjustments and noted those in the adjust box. That's how she used this quad system to help keep her honest and on track. So let me ask you, do you see how her actions need to support who she needs to show up as in order to get what she wants? On the other hand, someone in complete misalignment would have filled this out. They know who they need to be, but failed to take action steps, never sharing your commitment with anyone at all, but you'll know it. You went for a 20-minute walk once last week instead of 3 to 4 times in that week. You keep forgetting to drink water, so you're lucky if you drink 1 cup. You're accepting every invitation to go out for lunch or dinner. You don't watch how much food is on your plate. The more the better, and you are not one to leave anything behind. You don't like to cook, so you're ordering takeout or eating out. Now let me ask you this. Are these the actions of someone who wants to lose weight? Are the actions of this person in alignment with the promise, commitment, or goal they've made? Will the actions this person is taking generate the results that they desire? This last version is in complete misalignment with the commitment of losing weight and further reinforces the lack of self-integrity, because while they know who they need to be, they are not doing what they need to do to keep their promise they made to themselves. Or it could be that this want or desire or commitment is just not that important. It's not important enough and they should let it go. This misalignment of self-integrity starts to show up in other areas of your life and your business, because at the core, you know you are either someone who keeps their word and commitments or you're not. This is when it's even more critical to revisit the quad system. Are you really doing what you need to do? Are you being the person who gets what they want? This is often when our lack of self-integrity is glaring back at us. What things did we say yes to that kept us from being focused and on track? What did we allow to take priority over our plan? It's hard to look at our role in our lack of progress. It's hard to realize oftentimes we are the cause of feeling stuck, frustrated, angry even. And just to clarify, it is possible for you to be someone with a strong sense of integrity for others, friends, family, colleagues, clients, but have a total disconnect with yourself. It's so difficult to realize that the person who's keeping you from what you want is yourself. This exercise reflects it back to you, but the good news is that if you're getting in your way, you can also get out of your own way. We want to focus on getting you to have a strong and healthy relationship with yourself. So let's keep going. Okay, now it's your turn to do a little work. Turn to page 4 of your workbook and think about something you want on a personal or professional level, big or small. Just give yourself a moment to think about something that you want. You can pause this video and come back to it. It can be something new, something more of. This can be something you're currently working on already or something brand new. A small want or desire could be meet friends for coffee, date night with your spouse, take a dance class, attend more conferences, take a class, be part of a committee. A big want could be, do you want to stop missing your kids' events? Do you want a new car, travel more, buy a new house, be more present in all your relationships, get a promotion, change careers, go back to school, write a book, start a business? Now I want you to work through that page 4 for yourself. Fill in the blank with what do you want? Then think about the why. Why do you want this? How would it make you feel? How can it add value to your life, your relationships? What result could you expect by getting this why? Then ask, what else? Remember, you want your why to be strong enough to keep you motivating. So how are you doing? Are you moving along? Feel free to pause this video to work through your own quad system. Now, now let's look at the promise goal. Okay, now let's look at the commitment goal box. Add as many details as possible. Give yourself a due date, a deadline, a milestone. Refer back to page 3 of the example if you need to. Then we move on to the B box. Write down the characteristics of who do you need to be to get what you want. List them out, as many as you can think of. And hey, you can always come back if you think of more. Then we go on to the action box, the do, the one labeled do. List out the action steps you need to take to be the person who gets what they want. Keep thinking about what you want and your why. The why becomes so incredibly important at this stage because your why has to motivate you enough to keep you taking action, especially when you get stuck. If this is something you have already been working on, go to the section asking, how are you showing up? Are you in or out of alignment? And be honest with yourself. Write down if this is something new. Then in this section, think about how do you want to show up? How do you want to feel? And then we will determine if you need to fill in that adjust box or not. So how's it going? I want you to take your time. Be sure to feel free to pause the video and put pen to paper or type away. Self-integrity is not about other people. It is entirely 100% all about you. It's having a self-discipline to make progress, to be moving forward and towards something. Otherwise, we're busy getting nowhere fast. Self-integrity is not a feeling of guilt doing something because you would feel guilty if you didn't because someone else, someone with influence in your life, wants you to do it. It's not about feeling bad because you don't measure up to someone else. And it's not about working to please others for fear of what will happen if you say no or have a false sense of loyalty. Look, we're all a work in progress. We're never really done with it. This is a lifelong journey. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Developing self-integrity is a habit that you develop. It's like a muscle you work out to get it stronger. You don't go to the gym once and then walk out with a set of with a great set of abs, right? But if you do, I want you to contact me and sign me up for that class. I want to know about it. Not at all, right? It's a daily exercise, a routine you can set up and practice regularly. It starts with making the commitment, but then it takes work to consistently work on developing a stronger sense of self, an unwavering self that keeps promises and commitments. I want to share with you 3 ways you can start to exercise and practice self-integrity to strengthen this muscle. We can start out small to adopt and implement this new habit so that when we get to make the big commitments, if we've been practicing this new habit daily, then it becomes second nature. We are so ready to design and execute our bigger plan of action. By the way, you don't have to do all 3 exercises, but rather see which one resonates with you the most and start practicing. I just walked you through how to use the quad system. However, the following exercises are meant to help you strengthen your self-integrity by having it show up in your daily life. And guess what? You can get to use the quad system with each one of these exercises as well. Okay, let's get started. Let's start your day right with a morning routine. A ritual, setting up a regular morning routine can set the intentions for integrity throughout your day. I personally commit to starting my day with gratitude, a sort of gratitude prayer, almost like a meditation. It allows me to pause and think about all the things and people who make my life easier, happier. Every day that list is a bit different and I never run out of things to be grateful for. This practice sets the intention for my day right from the start. Without fail, this is my ritual and sets me up for a great day. I feel in complete balance of my commitment, who I'm being and how I'm feeling. So I want you to turn to page 6 of your workbook and let's do this together right now. Tell me, what could your morning ritual look like that would allow you to make a commitment and then take action to be in alignment? What promise could you make to yourself that would make you show up as a better version of yourself? Will you go for a morning walk your dog, read, journal, spend time with your kids at the breakfast table? Get up earlier to write, meditate, or listen to music, maybe a yoga class, even from home. I want you to go through the quad system. This is also known the keeping your promises formula, and fill in each section. What do you want and why? Make a commitment with details. Decide who you need to be and what will you do to practice this daily routine. How will it feel? How will you show up? Use your workbook, the quad system, to create your plan of action. You can always pause, work through it, and come back and let's keep going. So again, use the quad system. What will your morning routine be? Make a commitment. Who do you need to be? What do you need to do? How are you showing up? And make adjustments. Now, the second exercise I have for you is all about setting new boundaries. Begin to set some boundaries that will help you strengthen your self-integrity. But you can start out small, commit, and act. For example, are you that person who has their phone as an extension of their hand, and the moment it buzzes or you get a notification, you look down, taking you away from the present moment? A small boundary there could be that you take your phone still, but put it face down and you don't flip it over when it buzzes, rings, pings, or anything else. As you get stronger, you can move up to leaving your phone in your pocket or your bag while visiting with friends, colleagues, or your family. Make a promise to yourself. Determine who you need to be to keep that promise and act accordingly. This one thing I started doing quite a few years ago, and it makes me feel really good to know that I can be present, enjoy the moment while making the other person feel like they are getting my undivided attention. So, what new boundary can you start out with today? Pause the video. Work through the quad system. I want you to turn to page number 7 in your workbook and let's do this one right now. Will you stop working at 6 p.m.? Could that be a new boundary? Sit at the table with your family, whether it's for breakfast or for dinner. Promise not to be on social media after a certain time. Have one-on-one time with family or friends. Not take your phone everywhere you go. Participate in a company meeting. Stop answering emails after a certain time. during the week or on weekends. Or perhaps you commit to cooking at home more often and not eating out. What will your boundary be? Or here's a biggie. What is one thing you can say no to today or this week that will help you establish stronger boundaries? No guilt, just laser focus on a promise you've made to yourself. Remember, when you say no, you say yes to your self-commitment. We're on to the third exercise. This one's a little different. This 90-second rule has kept me from having regrets in my life. And I know that is a big statement, but anytime I'm tempted to make an excuse like, sorry, I was in a meeting, I was stuck in traffic, or where I'm about to be in a total reactive mode, I stop myself and pause for that 90 seconds. Exercising the 90-second rule will allow me to stop and then genuinely tell the truth in a way that feels right. It's hard sometimes, but it feels great knowing I'm speaking the absolute truth. It also allows me to not have regrets. Regret what I said in the heat of the moment. Regret how I acted in the reactive mode I was in. Instead, pausing allows me to take a deep breath and ask myself, why am I feeling so triggered? Why am I willing to act this way or say this? What's a better way for me to say something, make my point, be heard, and get a good reaction, or a better one? I want you to think back to a recent time. Did you find yourself in a situation where you made up an excuse so as not to look bad? Could you have paused and told the truth in a way that was genuine? Did you act or react in a way that made you beat yourself up about it later and regret what you said or how you behaved? Could you have paused and done it differently to have a better outcome and show up the way you really wanted to instead? Go ahead and turn to page 8 of your workbook and think about a recent situation where exercising the 90-second rule would have generated you a different outcome altogether. Who, what, or when could you have used the 90-second rule with recently? What was triggering you? Just work through the prompts. How could you have shown up differently? Or what could you have said instead? What different outcome could you have had? And how would that feel? This is what I'd like you to think through the next time a situation comes up where you may be tempted to say or act in a way you'll regret. Again, pause this video as much as you need to. Work through the system. This third exercise is a little different than using the quad system, but if you go through the prompts, it'll make you think about how you can show up as a better version of yourself. Adopt this new habit and practice it. At least one of the three, or all three if you want. Which one feels the best? Put it to the test and watch change happen. I've seen incredible transformations take place, not only in myself, but my clients. It's not easy. It takes time. It requires you to be brutally honest with yourself and hold yourself accountable. It takes practice and it takes you showing up. We talked a lot about our character today, our self-integrity, and the impact it has in our lives, both personally and professionally. I just shared with you 3 ways to practice and exercise self-integrity to make it stronger and have it show up in your daily life. Have a morning routine, set better boundaries, and exercise the 90-second rule. I'd like you to think about who you want to be for yourself and for others. When you have a clear vision of who you want to be, how you want to show up, strengthening your self-integrity becomes a priority, and you cannot help but follow through with your commitments to yourself and keep your word. Use the workbook as a framework for you to start making some changes. On page 9 of the workbook, I gave you a list of integrity phrases meant to inspire, prompt, and motivate you to take action towards strengthening your integrity. They won't all resonate with you, and that's okay. But use them as a reminder of the person you're working on being and how you want to show up. Then on the last page of the workbook, you'll find my contact information. If you'd like to reach out and let me know how you're doing, I'd love to hear from you. Even the smallest of change can have a ripple effect in your life, in the way you show up for others, but more importantly, the way you show up for yourself. So, what do you want? So there you have it. What do you think? How is your self-integrity these days? Could it use a little tune-up? Will you make a commitment to yourself to spend time thinking about how you're showing up in the different areas of your life and pick one area that you could use a little adjustment? We're not going for perfection here. We are all a work in progress. This is a lifelong practice that at times may be a lot stronger than others, and that's okay. Imperfect action is always better than waiting until it's perfect and never starting at all. I'm so happy and I am so grateful that you downloaded the workbook and took the time to sit through this video presentation to learn how to strengthen your self-integrity. I thank you for showing up for yourself and spending this time with me. I'm Veronica, and I'll see you soon.